All right, folks, the interview that you have been waiting for. This is Big Lou, and you are here with Shooting the Shit. Today, our special guest is Albert Castiglia. I'll be bringing Albert here with you, and we're going to ask him a few questions and see how this wonderful COVID-19 is treating him. Here we go, folks.
Shooting the shit.
That's what I call it. Shooting the shit with Albert. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there. How about you?
I'm okay. I'm hanging in there myself, trying to get through these wonderful times that we're all going through right now.
Well,
Um, can't say enough about it, and I try not to talk about it. I've been getting a bunch of artists trying to send me songs about it, and you know what I tell them? I said we hear enough of that shit on the news. On the station, I am not playing it. So do not send. I told them, do not send me any music that has to do with the virus, a lockdown, COVID, Corona, or anything. We're not playing it. I'm not. I refuse to.
nobody want to hear that shit now.
I said, fuck that shit. I am not playing that on the station. We're gonna play. I try to play music to make people happy. We forget
I'm writing songs, but they're not. I mean, they're definitely influenced by what's going on, but there are not a lot of references to the virus. I don't mention the word virus in my songs or death like that.
Do you say El Viro?
El Viro. Yes, I'm doing a Spanish language blues song with El Puma. And, no,
it's funny.
No, I don't even refer it in any language. I don't want to mention that virus or Corona. None of that.
Yeah, I'm staying away from the Corona, the lockdown blues, the quarantine blues, the in my house blues. I'm getting chunkier blues. Hey, when this is all done, they're not gonna call me Big Lou. They're gonna call me Bigger Lou.
Big ass Lou.
Big ass Lou. Every time I walk by the refrigerator, it kicks me.
I am feeling rather plump myself.
But no, I miss the interacting with you guys, the artists. I'm like, I when you guys take the stage, I'm not a musician by no means, but I look at the audience through your eyes and the pleasure that you guys give the audience. I receive it from that.
It's a two-way street. The music is if it's a shared experience, and if without you guys, without the fans, without the people, it's not much fun, and it doesn't work. So it's definitely a challenge now to perform the way we have been doing it. But it's the reality for now, and I know I'm very confident that once we get a vaccine, things will slowly get back to normal, I believe. I mean, that's the whole key, isn't it? I mean, the problem is we don't have a vaccine. If we have a vaccine, this thing will go the way of the flu, and we'll be fine. But right now we don't have one, so we need to just hang in there and figure a way to do it.
I said that it's taken March, April, May to kind of get to as they call it, the plateau. It's going to take June, July, August to kind of overcome it, and hopefully, and we all know that it takes 12 months to 18 months to create a positive vaccine to help us. I'm hoping that with all the push and shoving that they're doing, that we can get it done sooner.
Well, that's the hope, That's the hope, but till then we're going to have to be living very differently. I certainly have lived this has certainly changed me a lot. I have become more aware of my surroundings. I have become prone to. I don't go out very much. I think I've been out 3 times since we've been on lockdown. Since my last tour fell through, I think I've been out in my van to do something 3 times. I go out and walk the dog once or twice a day, but I have not left my house to do chores only 3 times. It's made me, and I wear a mask when I go out, and it's made me more aware of that. It's made me more frugal, penny wise, money wise. It's maybe yeah, it's made us more of survivalists.
Mm-hmm.
We become more survival prone now. We're more cautious about what we need to do.
Yeah,
And that's what we got to do. We got to survive, man.
my last outing was March 12th. I had that Walter Trout event down here in
Oh
Punta
my God.
Gorda, and I was really surprised that he even performed. And
I think
at
he
that,
canceled the tour after that, didn't he?
he canceled the tour after my show. At that time, there was only like 8 cases in the state of Florida, and then the next day, it just blew up. Um, and when he canceled that, we were at the Bonita Blues Festival down with Kevin Barry, and they canceled him like an hour before the festival.
He well, he did the right thing because, man, people who have traumatic health problems, who had survived traumatic health problems, they're very vulnerable. My mom is a 2-time cancer survivor, and she works from the house, and I'm glad she does.
I kept trying to say is you don't want to have the festival and be remembered as the guy that all those people got sick at your festival.
I
Um,
went through that. I went through a month and a half ago. I was we had an East Coast tour scheduled. We played Orlando and then Tallahassee, and then I had to go to Delaware to play a small club that held 40 people. We sold out 3 nights, but there was a lot of worry about what was going on. I called the owner of the club. I said, "Are we cool?" He said, "Right now we're cool." I said, "All right, I'm going to try and make this money, as much money as I can for me and the band, because we don't know what's going to happen." So we made our way towards Delaware. I got to South Carolina and I started thinking, I don't know about this, And I called the owner again. I said, "Are we still on?" And he goes, "Yeah." All right, well, I'm going to pull over. We stayed in South Carolina. We had 2 days to get to Delaware. We stopped in South Carolina. It stayed at a hotel. And the next day we drove. We had another day to drive. And I called the owner of the club. I said, "Are we, what's happening? Are we on? I'm getting a little nervous here." And he said, "Well, I think it's looking so far so good, but I think the president's going to speak. So I don't know. We'll see." I said, "All right." He goes, "Well, why don't you do this? Pull over on the highway and I'll get back to you." So I drove another couple of hours and we pulled off, I don't know, maybe Florence, South Carolina, I think. And we pulled it up and I started, and then I started thinking what you were just talking about, what you were thinking. I said, "Man, I don't want to be the band that's responsible for getting people sick. I mean, those people want me to be there, but I don't want them to see. I want to see these people, and we don't exactly have, we don't have exactly have the youngest fan base in the world either.
right,
We have
right.
people, these people are like old
Yeah,
rockers.
right.
So I was very concerned about what my part in this would have been. And I was like, I called up, I was calling Kevin Hopkins at Intrepid, one of the agents, the East Coast rep. "Look, man, I'm feeling really concerned about going all the way up to Delaware. And number one, it could get canceled and we have to drive all the way home from Delaware when we get there. Or number two, I don't want to get anybody infected. I love my fans and I don't want to get them hurt." And as I'm telling him this, he's watching the news, and the news says Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland shut down all the bars in Maryland, all the clubs. And I said, "That's Delaware is right next door. They're going to be next. I'm going home. I'm turning this shit around." And he said, "Okay, go ahead. I'll talk to the owner of the club and we'll be fine." I turned it around and I drove home. 2 hours into our drive home, they shut down Delaware.
Wow.
And I went home March 14th or 15th, around that time, and I've been on lockdown since.
Yeah, I've been on lockdown since like I said, I was supposed to go to the Bonita Blues Festival every year, and I do live remotes and stuff. And when they canceled him, that was the 13th of March. I've been here in my house ever since. Other than going to Publix and back home, I haven't done anything. You know,
What else is there to do?
and
We got no choice.
my wife says, find something to do in the house. Like you don't have. I personally, I don't have the energy that I want to take on a project. because it's kind of demoralizing because I miss what I love. I truly miss what I love, and that's tending, being in the crowds and catering to the fans and just having a good time. I truly enjoy it.
It's very
I'm not,
hard. It's very difficult. It's very difficult to be put in this position, and it's very hard. Yeah, it's very difficult to. You have to figure out a routine. You got to figure out what you're going to do. You have to, I'm, I've been lucky because people have been very helpful to me, but I have to develop a routine soon,
and
and I don't know.
it's got to be tough doing the virtual shows because you don't get that interaction with the crowd. You don't get to snap off one of you personally are known for your jokes with the fans, and you don't get to do that.
No,
You don't get the
yeah, well,
reaction back.
I talk to him. I mean, I'm talking to him through a camera, and I'm keeping things light, but it's emotional in the sense that it hurts to not be there with them, and I found myself being at the end of these virtual shows being very, very emotional and very, very sad because I mean, it's like there's no talking to anybody. It's like you finish the song and then you turn off the camera and then that's it. It's just kind of done, and it is very difficult. But we gotta do what we have to do. I mean, it's our reality for the moment, and the we have to adapt.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
why
unfortunate.
I kind of came up with this just sitting around here. This thing I call shooting the shit. I said, you know what? Because I'm gonna talk to the artists. I'm gonna talk to the venues. I want to talk. Hey, I've reached out to the guy who's a dishwasher. What's going on in your life since this happened?
Yeah,
It's affected. The media talks about the airlines, the big corporations that are affected, but they've forgotten about the small mom and pop restaurants, the venues, the entertainers, um, the artists. It's just everything has been, they don't exist.
nobody's been spared from this.
Mm-mm.
Certainly,
So,
that is the truth. Not everyone is every. Well, I would like to think that I don't know. Maybe but it's amazing how this can really expose. One minute you have a thriving economy, and then something like this can expose an economy.
mm-hmm, no
I
doubt.
mean, and like this, you can go from
That's so
you can go
true.
from whining and dining with kings and queens to sitting in an alley eating pork and beans.
Oh, I
And
think
so,
what this has done is definitely weeded out the middle class. You're either upper elite or you're lower elite. There's no middle anymore. This has definitely weeded it out.
we're all in. Yeah, I aside from the big guys at the top, we're all the same. Uh, some of them, some people have a boat and they can go and park their ship in the middle of the Caribbean and be away and
Hmm.
seclude themselves. We're in the thick of it. We're all in this, man.
So
We're
so
all in this. We're all tied in together with
so
this,
when you take your
and I think the majority of us are on board
when you
with what
take
we
your
do.
when you take your yacht out and you want to feel like inviting my wife and I, we'll sit 6 feet apart from you and we'll have dinner. So don't worry about it. I'll take the
I'll sit in the
invitation.
galley.
I'll,
I'll sleep in the
I'll,
galley. My very first blues cruise, I was in the bottom of the ship. They had a room, had a cabin in the bottom of the ship where you could see the fish.
and now
They
look
were
at
so
you.
low in the ship that you could see the fish.
And now look
I
at
would
you.
settle for that.
Hey,
Now I am the fish.
I asked a couple of your fans on my page to ask me a few questions. They shot a couple questions at me, so I'm going to ask you a couple of their questions. I'm not going to
Sure.
go through all of them. One of them was Jennifer asked, "Have you ever had stage fright performing with any other musician?"
Oh, of course.
There you go, Jennifer. Of course, we won't say who it was.
No, I can elaborate. I can elaborate. Let me think. Man, I had stage fright for years. I still get a little not nervous but anxious. But in the beginning, yeah, I would get lots of stage fright, and it didn't matter who I was with. Um, there's no one particular show. Although playing with Junior in the beginning, with Junior Wells in the beginning, was certainly very intimidating.
Yeah,
And but I got comfortable with him, and there is no real one particular person playing with that I got nervous with. And quite frankly, I'm 50 years old now, and I'm not afraid of anybody but God and my wife. That's all. I ain't afraid about nobody else. And playing, I've learned to embrace playing with other people. That whole stage fright thing doesn't really affect me anymore. But when I was younger, it was certainly a problem. And I would have sometimes I'd have a few, I'd have a shot of Southern Comfort before the show. That would be what would help calm my nerves down. But I don't do that no more. It doesn't take that to take the edge off anymore. It's just like I'm 50 years old. I've been doing this for 30 years.
It don't matter no more, man. You're comfortable in your skin now.
I'm more exactly.
Hey, Kevin Boyer asked, "Have you ever performed Little by Little, Junior Wells song?"
With Junior, certainly.
On your own?
On my own, I played it with other people, but not. I don't think I've ever played it on my sets. I like that song a lot, but I mean, Junior had so many great songs.